Income Tax 2020, Practice Problem 1, Presentation 44, Residential Energy Credit. Come in, relax with Income Tax 2020. Here we are in our Lacerte Tax software. You don't need the Lacerte Tax software to follow along. However, I do believe they have a free 30-day trial. So if you can get access to a promo or demo version of this or any other tax software, it could be a good tool to practice with. We're going to be continuing on with our comprehensive practice problem 1. In the first section, we were entering information related to our income items. Then we entered information related to our above the line deductions or the adjustments to income. Then we moved on to our itemized deductions. Then we focused in on a Schedule C sole proprietor business. Now we're basically on page 2 looking into the credits. So we're going to be going then to page 2, focusing in on the credits here. We're focusing in on the items that are going to be the credits up top, basically the non-refundable portions of the credits. These being coming from then the Schedule 3 line 7, pulling over here. So if we go into Schedule 3 line 7 then, we're concentrating on this item, number 5, the residential energy credit. That's coming from Form 5695. So we're going to be then going to Form 9695. Now, as we get this information, this would typically be something like the client would have to provide us information that they did something that's going to be qualifying for a residential energy type of credit. Possibly they put in some energy efficient kind of items in their home or something like that. And they would have to tell us about that, of course. So this is something that, once again, we probably wouldn't have any formal form like a W-2 or 1099 for it. But when they do an installation that's something that may qualify for a credit, oftentimes the contractor will then be telling them about the fact that it will be possibly subject to a credit, or they might get a benefit from a tax credit, and therefore they might want to save that documentation and provide it to us, possibly when they fill out the organizer or questionnaire that we give to them from year to year, or when in writing, if they're just asking us about or telling us about the credit. It'll typically be something that will be provided to us. So then we're going to go back on over and enter our credit. And we're going to say that we have exterior windows or skylights, and we're just going to say that it costs us $5,000. $5,000. And then I'm going to pull that back on over. So I'm going to go back to the forms then. And I'm going to say that we were on Schedule 3. So now we're looking Schedule 3. Now we have the 200 here. 200 being coming from Form 5695. So if we go down to Form 5695, then we're on basically page 2 here, non-business energy property credit. And we see the calculation down below. There's the 5,000 that we had. We have basically the 2,000 that's going to be available for the credit. That's kind of like the limit that we're going to have here. And then we're going to be picking up the 10% of it for that $200. The $200 in essence then is what's pulling over to Schedule 3 line 5. Schedule 3 then on line 5, we now have that 200, which is adding up to the non-refundable credits, including the credit for the child and dependent care, not the child tax credit, but the child and dependent care, 480, and then the 1,500, which is the education credit for the HOPE credit, which is the non-refundable portion, and that adds up to the 2,180, which is going to go then to page 2 of the 1040. Page 2 of the 1040 then, we now have the amount that pulled over, which was this 2,180. So there's the 2,180. So if we just recap this, again, no change happened to the first page happening here. So we're still at the 89,221 on the first page. No change to the actual tax calculation there. Then this 2,500 did not change. That's the child tax credit. Then we have this amount, which did change. This is the amount from Schedule 3 that pulled over. And that's going to have an impact on this number, the 4,680. And then we have the other taxes, which is the self-employment taxes, the 7,728, to get to the total tax of the 13,507. Then we're looking at the payments and refundable credits side of things. So here's kind of like the tax after the non-refundable credits. Here's going to be the kind of refundable credits and the payments. 8,000 that was withholded from the W-2s, 10,000 from the estimated payments that we had on the Schedule C, 1,000 from the refundable portion of the education or HOPE credit, bringing us to the 19,000. The difference between the 13,507 tax total tax and the 19,000 payments and refundable credits is the 5,493 overpayment.